Okay, Dr. Mike, let's call the meeting to order, and thank you very much for greeting today.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lakeland Rotary Club. I'm Carol Wallace, and I have the best job in the world being the immediate past president of this club. And it's my pleasure to fill in today for President Joel while he is out in Texas doing his most important job, and that is being a grandfather. I want to thank you, Dr. Mike, for being our greeter today. Dr. Mike is a retired minister. His current job is being a golfer, and I secretly think he is on a mission to become, to be on the senior PGA tour. He takes his golfing very seriously.
Got a long way to go.
He is a longtime Rotarian. He's a past president of his club when he lived in Nebraska. He has been with the Lakeland Rotary Club for 21 years, and he is an incoming board member in July. So thank you very much, Dr. Mike. And now, if Larry Rankin is with us, I'm going to call on him for our invocation. Our Pledge of Allegiance and and invocation. Larry, are you with us? Okay. No, Larry. Okay. I'm going to lead us in the pledge after Dr. Mike. Will you lead us in the invocation?
Sure will. Our gracious God, thank you for a beautiful, beautiful Florida day. And thank you for our Rotary Club and for the district and for our International Rotary and all the good things that we're involved with. We are aware that World Water Day is coming up soon and that our Rotary Club is involved in these projects to help others who are in need to find water. Thank you for this time together with our candidates today. Open our minds and our hearts. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, if you'll join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And now I wish we could sing, but we're going to go on to the introduction of guests and visiting Rotarians. I think we have several with us. So Trey, I'm going to let you handle that.
Good afternoon. If we have any visiting Rotarians or guests, if they could introduce themselves or if their host could introduce them.
Hey, Trey, this is Michael Huff. I've got two guests today. Well, one of them, I'm not sure if he made it on or not, Scott Headley with Headley Insurance and Ryan Reese from the Lakeland Chamber.
I saw Ryan. Yep.
Yep.
Hi, this is Irma Cole. I have as my guest today the editor of Lakeland Now. Most of you know him, the wonderful Barry Friedman.
Great. Welcome, Barry.
Yes.
Hi, Doug McCall, visiting Rotarian from Bollasey Rotary Club in England.
And welcome, Doug. Any other guests or visiting Rotarians today?
Sushil, did your guest make it? Must not have. Okay. Did we miss anybody?
Ryan McKellen is here again. Glenn Allen's guest.
All right. Tell me your last name.
Ryan McKellen.
It's Ryan McKellen from International Diamond Center.
Yes. Yes. Glad to have you. Have we missed anyone?
Thank you again.
Yeah. Charlie Hardage also here. Also Gwen's guest.
Okay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Glad you're with us.
And welcome. Any other guests or visiting Rotarians? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here today.
Okay. Thank you, Trey. All right. Happy dollars. Who's happy today? Just unmute yourself.
I'm happy today, Carol, because the Central Florida Speech and Hearing is doing a recipe for communication. And I know how many of my fellow Rotarians love to cook with aprons, and we haven't been able to do that. So we're sponsoring so that you can pick up your food, and then the chef will prepare it, and you can watch live and prepare at home while Jeff is cooking. So it should be a lot of fun.
So when does this take place?
It'll be Thursday, April 29th. And you have to sign up before the 26th. And you can go online and make a reservation to www.cfshc.org/recipe. So it should be really, really fun.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Roxanne. Who else is happy today? Spring is on the way. I know we have some happy people. Okay. Going once, going twice. Okay. On to announcements. Jack has an announcement for us.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are going to have a fellowship event this Thursday at Federal Bar downtown on Tennessee Street. Just kind of a congratulations to our Spring Obsession Committee and all the volunteers helped make that such a huge success. So that'll start about 5 o'clock. You don't need to RSVP or anything. Just come and enjoy some fellowship. And while I have you, just a reminder, next week we will be doing our in-person hybrid meeting. So if you do plan to attend, please go on the website and register, either buy your lunch or buy a beverage, but we have to have a head count. Unfortunately, because the restaurant needs to know, I can't have anybody show up the day of to try to walk in. So we need to tell them how many chairs, how many meals, all that stuff. So please go on the website and register, and hope to see you next week in person.
Okay, great. And I hope we have a big turnout on Thursday at our social. Look forward to seeing everybody. All right.
Carol,
yes.
Don Selvage, I do have an announcement, please.
Certainly. Yes, certainly. Go ahead.
March 29th is the annual day where veterans of the Vietnam War are honored. And as a partner in that association, the City of Lakeland, in coordination, collaboration with the Vet Center, the Catholic War Veterans, and the Polk Veterans Council, will have a ceremony on Saturday, March 27th at 10 a.m. down in Veterans Park. We'll have the director of Haley VA to speak to us, plus, and we'll have a wreath to lay at the Vietnam War Monument at the park. So please plan on attending. It's last about an hour and a half at 10 o'clock on Saturday, March 27th. Thank you.
Okay, that's this Saturday. Okay, thank you, Don, for bringing that to our attention. Anybody else got an announcement? Okay, I have one happy announcement. We learned this morning that congratulations are in order for Matt and Catherine Schichtel. They have our newest Rotarian. Their daughter was born Sunday, March 21st. Yay, we're so excited. She's got a beautiful name, Marin Swan Schichtel. Swan is a family name on Catherine's side. And I also want to congratulate the proud grandparents, Bill and Caroline. So congratulations to all. Look forward to meeting her. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to Alice to introduce our program. We're excited about our panel, and we really appreciate all the candidates who are running for the City Commission, not only for your contributions that you make to the city, but for being willing to come and talk to us in this crazy format. So we're hoping that everything goes smoothly. Just hold your breath and be patient. I'm going to stop my screen share, and Alice, then y'all can take it away from there. So Alice, I'm turning it over to you.
Technological support here. First, I want to thank John Lote, the manager of the Marriott Spring Hill Suites. If you have not been to the new hotel on Lime Street, you need to make a stop by for your events, weddings, or just a stay vacation. This place is beautiful. With us today, we have the 4 candidates for the City Commission seat that was vacated by Scott Franklin when he won congressional seat, District 15. We have with us Mike Music, Steve Frankenberger, Ken Post, and Shandell Terrell. Before we get to questions, I am going to allow each to introduce themselves to you, and I'm going to start with Ken on my left.
Hello, my name is Ken Post. I am a resident of the city of Lakeland for just about 1.5 years now, but I've been a homeowner in Lakeland for 20 years. My parents and siblings moved down here in the 90s, so I've been familiar with Lakeland for quite some time. And I've watched the growth and the expansion of Lakeland. And as I see that happening, I want to be part of the city to help manage and keep it well managed and maintained.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you for coming. Mike Music.
Hey there. My name is Mike Music. I'd like to thank Alice and the group of Rotarians for having this get together for us. We don't see too often an organization that opens in prayer in the pledge, and that really that excites me. And that's how I grew up. That's how I live. So I appreciate that. That's how you guys start your meetings. So again, I'm Mike Music. I've been a resident here for 42 years. We moved here from Pennsylvania. My dad was an educator at Lakeland Christian School. I've got 3 children. They're all in college right now. Again, I always say you can keep me in your prayers. I've got my wife, Nikki, was a labor delivery nurse for 20 years at Lakeland Regional, and now she is a professor of nursing at Southeastern University. I'm a small business owner. I've got a construction and roofing company that I've had for the last about 22 years, focus only on roofing now. But you know, when I think of Lakeland, I think of where I grew up and where I raised my kids. Anyone that's been here for 4 decades and plus, I know some of you've seen the growth. You've seen times gone where you used to be able to ride your bike down to the mall and watch a movie to now it's just a bustling city. I've been reaching out to people in the community, kind of finding out where they want to be. And I want to take what they're saying, take to the commission and see how we can help make Lakeland great for your kids and mine. Thank you.
All right, Steve Frankenberger.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Frankenberger. I've lived in Lakeland for 36 years now, moved over from St. Petersburg. But during that 36 years, I've worked for public supermarkets, and I've learned leadership skills, project management, budgeting through one of the best companies in the world. Had the opportunity to spend one-on-one time with George Jenkins and the family with my job in photography. I know that Dr. Mike, you and I probably did a few weddings together over the years. If I recall, I had a wedding business for about 20 years, wedding photography. And when my daughter was born, I stopped that project and stayed with Publix. So my son, I have a son that's graduated the Lakeland High School, and then he went on to the U.S. Air Force Academy. He's now a captain in the Air Force. I got the military part there. He's very successful, and we're very proud of him. And then, so with Lakeland, being fiscally conservative of taxpayer dollars is super important. And being a part of this community and listening to any resident and what they want to see with the commission, or what my door is an open door policy. Learned that from Publix. Being a servant leader is very important. And I want to be your city commissioner. I want to be the person that will listen to everything that you say and how we can achieve great things with this city. Thank you.
And Shandell Terrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shandell Terrell, and I have a passion and dedication to provide the city of Lakeland opportunities to succeed with expanding business community, good living wage paying jobs, a safe place to live, and educated workforce. I was born and raised here in Lakeland, where I attended Oscar J. Polk Elementary School, Crystal Lake Junior High School, and a graduate from Lakeland Senior High School. Played football for Lakeland Senior High School, earned athletic scholarship to Auburn University. Diagnosed with a pinched nerve in my right shoulder, transferred to Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, Florida A&M University, where I majored in education and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in education. I earned a Master of Science degree in Educational Leadership from Nova Southeastern University and a doctoral degree in education with a concentration in higher educational leadership with a minor in urban education from Nova Southeastern University. My personal experiences with the City of Lakeland: I served on the City of Lakeland Citizens Advisory Committee. I served on the City of Lakeland Budget Advisory Committee. I served on the City of Lakeland Police Youth Athletic League Board of Directors, working with our inner city youth and Lakeland Urban Core. I currently serve on the City of Lakeland Gang Task Force Committee, and I also serve on the City of Lakeland Police Advisory Board, Citizens Advisory Board. And my other experiences, I graduated from Emerge, served boards and committees, focused on Leadership Lakeland and Leadership Lakeland, Class 28. And I went through the City of Lakeland Police Citizens Academy, and I graduated from Sheriff Grady Judd Police Leadership Advisory Council. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll begin with the questions now, and if you'll each take 1.5 to 2 minutes to answer the questions. The first question is, what do you believe are the main issues facing Lakeland's downtown urban core? And Shandell, if we could start with you, please.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Some of the main issues with Lakeland downtown urban core, we have to make sure we have sufficient parking for the citizens who like to dine in downtown Lakeland. Make sure that it's timely and conducive to the restaurants and the environment. And make sure we decrease the blight. Make sure we don't have no blight in downtown Lakeland, because it's very beautiful. From the time that I grew up, there was a bus station where the parking lot is at now. It used to be parking meters. There's a bus station there. You had Soul Train on the corner, right across the street from Wells Fargo, and Fox and Hounds, where BBT Bank is. And so I've seen a great transformation over the years within the City of Lakeland, decreasing, bringing businesses in to enhance the economy within the City of Lakeland, and decreasing the blight. So that's the main focus, and the City of Lakeland is doing a great job of that, the commissioners.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, downtown Lakeland has been doing some wonderful things since the 36 years I've been here. I think one of the main concerns we have is we need to have responsible growth in the downtown area. Got to be careful that some of the businesses being, the newer businesses that are being opened or developed are more of a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 business. We don't want our downtown to become an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday operation. Some of the bigger cities, downtown Orlando, have become that. You walk through some of those downtown areas that and restaurants and everything are closed on the weekends. So between the new Summit building being built with no retail at the bottom of that, I think was a missed opportunity we had there. And then Nathan's Men's Store, that would have been a great location for some kind of a part of it to be retail, but I believe it's all going to be bank now, which is, again, that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So we don't want to darken our city on the weekends or in the evenings. So that, as far as everything else going in downtown, it's great. The parks are great. The area around Lake Mirror, the joinery, those are some fantastic operations that are happening to spread the people of downtown around. So my next thing is we need to somehow incorporate all that group together through some kind of a transportation infrastructure thing. That's a project that I would consider when I become a commissioner.
Thank you, Steve. Mike?
So yeah, I think echoing what the other two have said is certainly true, right? I mean, we go downtown, you go to the farmer's market on Saturday and you walk around, it's amazingly lively. What those that have come before us have envisioned and implemented truly is starting to see fruit for sure. I think one of the biggest things we've got to do is look at areas and instead of giving up land maybe that is vacant for buildings like the Summit, what I would have liked to have seen would have been a newer business come in, right? I mean, Summit was already here. I would like to have maybe seen them take something downtown and then bring in a new business. I would have liked to have also seen that be a mixed use. I know that that wasn't part of their deal, but that certainly would have been what I would have liked to have seen. We've got a lot of areas as you drive down there, all the lakes as they tie in together. What I would like to see is more growth from businesses that are going to be 24/7 weekend type businesses. I certainly would echo what Steve said, is that when you go to a city and the downtown is shut down at night, that's really not conducive to the living environment that we're looking at. What I think that is important is, as we look at some of the development that we have coming up around the Bonnet Springs and some of the acreage that the city has for sale, what we've got to do is redevelop that to the best possible use for 24/7 type living, multi-use, right? With residential, commercial, agricultural, all of that tied in together. But really what it takes is vision. We've got to get together and we've got to create a vision for the entire body of that urban core, see how it all can tie together, because listen, we've got some developers around here that are just phenomenal. What they can bring and their imagination, their workforce is just something else. So it's getting together, it's dreaming, then it's implementing, and that's what I'd like to see happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Thank you. As I look at the downtown area, it has come a long way in the years. Visiting over the years, I've seen the changes. And I think one of the things we can look at doing is connecting everything together. And part of the vision that is on the table for Lakeland is connecting the RP Center with the Munn Park area and the different restaurants, and keeping that flow going. And then we can also look at some way to connect it down to the Dixieland as that gets developed and becomes a attraction for not only our residents, but other communities to come and visit Lakeland and really take part in all that Lakeland has to offer. One of the things I would look at is enhancing Munn Park. It's a nice park, but I think enhancements would go a long way for Munn Park. And as the gentlemen were saying, keeping that retail restaurant space going and adding more of those types of businesses so that it becomes 7 day a week all the time.
And when you say enhancing Munn Park, what ideas do you have?
I think it'd be great to have something for the kids. You know, I know when I bring my daughter there, she's always like, well, where are the swings? You know, or where's something, you know, something in activities like that so the families can come down and have family type atmosphere, and then take a break and go have lunch or have dinner and still have something that they could do. So your day could be just activities around the downtown area and walking the different area.
Thank you. Yep. The next question is, Steve, I'm going to start with you this time. What are your thoughts on the controversial deal between the city and Lakeland Regional Health bringing an end to future rent payments that will change revenue to the city?
Oh yeah, the lease deal. Collecting $215 million in a lump sum by the end of this year sounds amazing, and what we could probably do with that money through investment or maintain some future growth is enticing. Well, now by 2040, though, you've just lost an incredible lease. So the future generation will have an issue trying to find an extra $14 million a year in our city's budget. I do understand that the hospital needs to be competitive with the other hospitals being built right now. Orlando Health, Advent, just looking for property. There's a lot happening in the city with hospital and different urgent care facilities, things like that. So we did need to work with them to negotiate some kind of an arrangement from the $14 million, but we have a huge asset. The city has a huge asset with Lakeland Regional, and I'm not a big fan of the fact that we are taking a lump sum. I would have liked to have seen a more long-term approach instead of the quick fix to get them out of their lease.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Alice. So a little bit different take on that. I think that it was inevitable. I think that it was going to happen. What I didn't like was that so much of this seemed to happen without the citizens knowing, and then a lot of us read about it in the paper the next day. I met with Mike Rosart. I've met with people that are on the board at the hospital, and this was prior to this, and there was kind of this inevitability that it was coming. I think that really when we're talking about something as large as an asset of the hospital, having that information out to the people is important. Even if we came to the same conclusion, the same decision, what is important is that those that are paying the tax dollars are the ones that are getting the information. It's difficult to answer the question where I stand on it because I don't have the hundreds of documentations. I don't have the information that they were privy to prior to that. From what I have talked to people in the know, that deal in 2040 anyway, there was going to be some legislation coming down that was we weren't going to have that money anyway. It was going to go to indigent care. So I think that they took all that information when they made those decisions. I think we've got to be prudent, right? We've got to take that money and it's got to be prudently done. One of the problems with that is that, the current commission is not bound by future commissions. So whatever decision they make now isn't necessarily going to be the responsibility of the future commission. So for them to be able to wisely put that into a money returning fund is going to be a deal. It's going to be something that's going to have to be taken seriously. It's going to have to be prudently done, and it's going to have something that has oversight. So there's certainly pluses and minuses to it, but I mean, having Lakeland Regional here is important, and competition is here and more is coming. So they've got to be on the footing that they need to be able to compete. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Can you repeat the question?
Certainly. What are your thoughts on the controversial deal between the city and Lakeland Regional Health bringing an end to the future rent payments, altering the revenue to the city?
Well, when I investigated it and looked into it, I see it was a great deal for the hospital. They got almost a 30% shavings of what they would have paid over time. So I'm not sure it was a great deal for the city. As I calculated out the funds of what should have been paid over the course of the lease agreement and what the $200 million comes out to, it's about 30% reduction. So I'm not sure why we would agree as a city to give that big of a benefit to the hospital. The hospital is important. It's been part of the city for over 100 years. It was established and maintained and developed over the years through the city's help, through many contributions and working together to maintain the hospital. And they're still expanding. So they have sight and they have vision for what the hospital needs to be. And I just believe that a little better deal may have benefited the city. I know they talk about a 6% that they plan on putting it into some kind of funding that's going to give them 6% interest over the years. I'm just not sure where they're going to find that vehicle right now with interest rates so low. I'd like to know more about that and how that's going to happen. But I think one of the things that we need to keep in mind as a city is that we do have a population that, almost 25% of our population are retired. So there is a need. There is a need for the hospital. There is a need for that care throughout the city. So it's tough to have a definitive answer without seeing all the details. Thank you.
Thank you. And Shandell?
Yes, ma'am. If I was in that room with the body of commissioners and looking at the data and the numbers and the timeline of what they saw, more than likely I would have voted for it. But then there's a concern where, we won't have that annual fund to come. We won't have the annual funds to come into the city. So there's something that was there that they saw in the long term to where they took that agreement and made and signed their names to take that lump sum. So where I stand, it's a catch-22 because if I was in that seat, I would have supported it. But not sitting in that seat, it's like I wish I could see more of the information that they saw to support their cause. But I understand the major decision that they had to make within the City Commission and the City of Lakeland.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. What is your opinion? I'm going to start with you this time, Mike.
Right.
What is your opinion on annexation of existing developments outside of the city limits?
Yeah, it's interesting. I have some friends that live in this weird pocket right outside of the city. And they literally drive out their street and they're in the city. So it's interesting, right? They're paying fees and not necessarily getting all of the benefits for it. So that's kind of an interesting take. I am pro-development. I'm pro-growth. So in my opinion, I like the idea of a annexation. What I don't like is forced annexation. I think that, and as we see this happen, they've done a great job, in my opinion, of posting, letting citizens know, hey, here's what we're going to happen in that area. I think they've done well. But in order to tie in utilities, in order to run the infrastructure that we need to, as far as maintenance and things of that nature from a road standpoint, I think that it's inevitable that the city of Lakeland is going to continue to grow. I've been fielding a lot of questions about the airport and noise and things of that nature. And it's interesting because no one that's living there now was there prior to the airport. So it's kind of one of those things that we want we want all of the joys and the benefits of the city. And sometimes that means that we've got to grow and acquire more land accordingly. It's going to be one of those things that, just like being a city commissioner, half of the people are not going to like what you do and half are. And it's just, you've got to stick to your convictions. You've got to stick to what you've said you're going to do and just be honest with who you said you're going to be. And I'm pro-growth and pro-development. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
One more time on the question.
Yes. What is your opinion on annexation of existing developments outside the city limits?
I think it needs to be communicated as the city wants to expand and grow. Those areas, residents living in those areas need to be well informed of what's going to happen. But there is a benefit for those areas to become part of the city. I know when you look at a map of the city, there are some strange lines in different areas of the West and Southwest. And you wonder why some of those areas are not already incorporated into the city. It would be beneficial to have the city lay out more of a structure that is easy to recognize. So when people are living in certain areas, they know right away whether they're in the city or not. I know that a lot of people I've talked to, they just basically look at it by trash collection. That's how they figure out if they're in the city or not in the city when they're near those borders. What kind of can do I have? But I think as we continue over the next 10, 20 years, the blueprint of the city is going to continue to grow. People are attracted to Lakeland. It's a very popular place to retire. It's a popular place to raise a family. So we're going to continue growing.
Thank you. And Ken, we're going to start with you this time.
We didn't.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
We didn't answer.
I'm sorry.
I'll be short.
You get your time. Go.
No, I'm good. No, I don't. If it need to be said, I'm good with it. I give a straightforward answer. Annexing is important, but we have to make sure that we strategically do it to preserve the lands and the environment, the beautification of Lakeland, because that's very important. That's the reason why citizens like to come to Lakeland, because of the beautification and the structures of Lakeland. So I truly believe if we're going to annex outside of Lakeland, outside the city limits, we need to make sure we do it strategically and not wasteful.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
An answer worth waiting for.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, I didn't go
Ken.
either.
Oh, you didn't either. Say, I'm just, go ahead, Steve.
Thanks, Alex.
I'm busy writing the next question.
They're good. I'll keep it short and simple too. I believe the annexing of developed areas or developing areas should go to the voter. Maybe we'll see something in November on the ballot. I do want the citizens of Lakeland, myself included, everyone to decide on this, because it does bring in a lot of costs for infrastructure. Give you a good example, the sewage plant on Glendale. They're running close to 50% capacity. They just tied in all that developed area out near the airport into their sewage lines, running it right through the golf course down Glendale. So there's a huge cost that comes with annexing in areas. Now, whether it's development in residential or business, I am not a, so to speak, pro-growth unless it's responsible growth. Responsible growth with fiscal responsibility, just to know where that money is going to go, how it's going to come back to the city. We've got to keep our city's environment, environmental feel, so people will love to come here. And that's Lakeland's a fast growing community because of that. And we want to keep that going. So,
thank you.
Sure.
And you're good, right?
Yes, I have answered.
So
correct.
Yes. Here. Do you please, Ken, address your thoughts on the homeless situation in downtown Lakeland?
Okay. So yesterday, as a group, we met with the leadership team at Lighthouse Ministries. And we learned a lot of great things that Lighthouse Ministries is doing. And they are aggressively working and trying to help the homeless in the Lakeland area. They provide them with a place to stay at night. They provide them with meals. They do training and try to get them back to a place where they become a productive part of the city. And I think it's programs like that, as well as the Tablet House, that we need to work with them, as well as the homeless, to bring everyone together and provide those services for the residents of Lakeland.
Thank you. Shandell?
Yes, ma'am. Lighthouse Ministries and Tablet House Ministries have a great resource of providing a service to the homeless. More importantly, it should be programs to make sure when they go into one of those programs, they come out as a productive citizen, as far as trying to obtain an occupation, housing, and to get them back on their feet. That's the purpose of these programs. We don't want to be a city where we just have a massive number of homeless people that's just in the area, which is non-productive. So we want to make sure that we decrease the number of homeless citizens and see if we can make sure they're productive citizens. We got to find out too what got them there, to reorganize their thoughts and development of the way they do things to make sure they don't go back to that same spot again, that position again. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Yeah, homelessness across the country is something we should all be concerned about. And as far as someone that is homeless, I'm a true believer that we need to give them the respect and dignity that they deserve, and offering some outreach programs, Lighthouse and Talbot House, and what they've done. It was very enlightening yesterday seeing the infrastructure of Lighthouse Ministries and how they bring God and the involvement of Scripture to even learning skills to get jobs in the future, or even a college, or even a high school GED. So anyways, having these support groups hopefully will help our homelessness dwindle. But across the country, it's something we're all dealing with. Every city's dealing with. So we've got suggestions for maybe just appearance of homeless, just you and I and everybody else that goes into the parks, just representation of people and how they handle the day-to-day life. I don't really, there's not a great answer for homelessness except for just through that respect, dignity, and some outreach programs to give them the ability to become, tax-paying citizens and work. So,
thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks. Yeah, and like the other candidates has expressed, we had a very good walkthrough with Steve yesterday at the Talbot House, and that was very very good to see how they are handling that. Now, the Lighthouse specifically has been here for over 30 years. So to look at an organization and say, they're going to be the key, obviously we all know they're not, they're going to be one of the aspects. And really, when we look at homelessness, we think of there's really a couple of different things, right? There's the fact that somebody doesn't have a home and therefore they're transient, they're going around maybe staying at the one of the local ministries. But then we also have the panhandling. Right, we've got the corners. We've all stopped at an intersection, right? And there's somebody standing there, and they're coming at you and looking at. That's the same potential issue, two different scenarios. We don't want to encourage our downtown to grow without doing something about those that are just hanging out in Munn Park, who are homeless. And I think that one of the first things that I'd like to see happen there is that we have panhandling on the books, right? We've got laws, ordinances already. We really need to kind of crack down on those. Homelessness is one of those things that we're not going to get rid of until Christ returns and we're not dealing with this anymore. But doing it compassionately, as the others have said, and enacting and following through with what we have right now. The last thing I think that we want to do is kind of raise a flag and say, hey, go ahead and come to us. We're compassionate and we love you and we're going to let that sit. It's a fine, fine line between showing the love of Christ and tolerating things that we know really ultimately end up bringing down our downtown, bringing down these areas just economically and with safety and things of that nature. So what I would do is I would start with what's on the books and how can we work with that and then step out from there.
Thank you. All right, I think this may be our last question.
You can get to answer that question. I'm sorry.
Yes, he started. I'm making little notes so I don't mess up again, Carol.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Fine. Shandell, how can the city of Lakeland help attract and retain a vibrant and talented workforce?
The city of Lakeland can attain a vibrant and elaborate workforce by reaching out to those local institutions of higher education. You have Florida Southern College, Southeast University, Florida Polytechnic, and Polk State College of Lakeland. Within those institutions, we have to meet them where they are. We have to show them that we have opportunities within the city of Lakeland. Collaborate with those institutions of higher education and vocational institutions, Travis Vocational Institution. We have to collaborate with them too, more importantly, because not every student is cut out to go to college. So we need to definitely connect with Travis. And that way we will retain those students if we show them the short, medium, and long-term goals and benefits of staying here in Lakeland, as far as the millage rate, as far as when you purchase a home, the attractions. We're centralized between Tampa and Orlando, where you don't have to deal with all the traffic hustle and bustle yet. Just the schools, the K through 12 schools, when they start having families, when they raise their children, to attend the K through 12 schools and a number of schools and academies, and the academy programs that are offered within the school. So I believe that's how, when those students graduate, if we show them those objectives and timelines on what can be done, and if they stay here instead of going to Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and all those various places out of state, I believe they will stay. And then we will replace that pretty much that graduation class that's retiring from the city of Lakeland. We'll be able to replace them quickly, but we have to go to those institutions.
Thank you.
Yep.
Steve?
Just so I get a specific answer, do you mind repeating the question? I'm so sorry.
How can the city of Lakeland help attract and retain a vibrant and talented workforce?
Okay, that's that retaining. Okay, so Catapult. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to take a tour of Catapult or learn some of the things happening there. They just recently did a pitch so that 5 businesses could ask for money, and the system that they have there is tremendous. It brings local entrepreneurs, whether it's a college student, somebody developing a new system, or somebody that even the folks that own Excalibur, they were processed of a lot of this to where they could bring in a business or an idea, and it keeps them here. It keeps them local. Now, Shandell had mentioned about the academies. Our city with our high school systems and the academies that they have are fantastic. I have a 15-year-old daughter going to McKeel Academy. She's in the medical program. Never in her life she ever thought medical would be a field she'd get into. She's learning some great things. Now she's during the summertime, she volunteers at SPCA with their medical. So the things that if we can take the workforce that's showing initiative and keep them and show them that what Lakeland has to offer, they'll keep them here. Now we've got the environment of the city and bringing everybody in to enjoy the city of Lakeland, and how we can, whether it's the parks, the arts, the waterways that we have with the lakes, and keeping everything clean and active, will keep that workforce here. Cleveland Heights Golf Course, great example. Got to keep it open. Don't develop it. Keep it ready to go so that this workforce will move into other areas that are tennis courts, you name it. Lakeland has everything needed to keep workforce here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
So, retainage, that's a great question. And that's really the crux of it. A lot of you that are on the other end of this are small business owners. So what does it take for you to be able to hire some of those that are graduating and coming out of our school system? And that's a growing economy. We've got to look and see how can we bring in high paying, high wage, high intensity, high tech, high everything, right? I mean, we've got to go and shoot for the moon when we're trying to get Steve Scruggs and his group, as they're going out and they're trying to lure people here, right? Like Shandell said, we've got to have an education system that's second to none, right? And you can tell that by looking at the real estate system, right? Certain areas have higher prices of homes because of those particular schools. We've got to take that and we've got to make sure that expands out so that all of our school systems are top notch. And by doing that, when people desire to move in here, they'll have bigger options and not a smaller pool to deal with. Because as you all know, when you're moving, that's one of the first things you look at. If you don't send your kids to a magnet school or something, is what is the best public school around. So we've got to continue to bring in the aerospace. We've got to bring in the engineering. We've got to bring in these companies that bring jobs that, when our kids graduate, whether they go away or they get educated here at the local colleges, universities, that they can come back and say, yes, that job entices me. That job is something that I would like to do. Because if not, they're going to go to another town that has taken the time to bring in that business and that exciting job, because that's what kids are looking for. I've got 3 that are in college, so this is a very big deal to me. For me to look around and to say, where can my kids come back and get plugged in and not live at mom and dad's house and have a living that they can pay their own way and then have their kids here? That's what I want. So it's bringing in strong businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, wait. Sorry. You're welcome. Sorry, Ken. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're back up. Okay, go ahead, Ken.
So how do we attract and retain those high-paying jobs for Lakeland? I think one of the things we need to keep in mind is to keep Lakeland affordable. So as we keep Lakeland affordable, young families, young graduates of college who are looking for places to live and to work are looking for that affordability as well as good places for their families. So that's one of the ways that is really how I ended up here. So back in the late 80s, my sister and brother-in-law moved down here with a company that was located in New Jersey, and they decided to relocate their whole company to Lakeland. And that's what brought us here as well. So as we continue to reach out to those companies and bring them to the area, there are a lot of examples, Lockheed Martin, different companies like that have come to the area that provide those jobs and provide those skill level jobs that people are looking for. Then I think we need to start reaching out beyond just our colleges, but to the colleges in Tampa, the colleges in Orlando, and say, hey, we have things to offer here in Lakeland, and reach out to those new graduates and entice them to come to Lakeland. One of the things we need to keep in mind is that the workforce is changing. So many people have been and are still working from home. That is something that was a 5-10 year goal for many companies, but after this last year, they're saying, wait a minute, we can keep doing that now. So a large workforce is working from home. So now, where is home? Home can be wherever you want it to be. So we can reach out to those people who live all around the country and say, hey, Lakeland has a lot to offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. I thank the Rotarians who sent in questions. I thank John with the Marriott. I think you can see behind my head 2 beautiful paintings of Mr. George and Carol Jenkins Barnett. This hotel is beautiful, and I hope you'll get opportunity to come out. Thank you to Mike Musick, Steve Frankenberger, Ken Post, Chandel Terrell. Thank you for putting your names in the hat. Thank you to your families who are supporting this endeavor. And everyone, mark your calendars for April 6th. Please, it's an unusual time for an election. Mark your calendars. These folks go to a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of money. So come out and place your vote. Back to you, Carol.
Okay, thank you so much, Alice. Let's give everybody a round of applause if you can unmute yourself. I just can't thank the candidates enough and Alice for putting together this wonderful program with very thorough and thoughtful questions. And all of the candidates were very well versed in the issues that we're facing as a city. And I really do appreciate your participation today. And as Alice said, get out and vote on April the 6th. And even though this is a special election for one district, every registered voter in Lakeland can vote. So please get out and vote on April 6th. Thank you again. I want to thank our guests and visiting Rotarians for joining us today. We had several guests: Scott Henley, Ryan Reese, Barry Friedman, Ryan McKellum, Charlie Hardage, and our visiting Rotarian, who we feel like is our own, Doug McCall. Hope you'll join us again. Our weekly quote: a majority in all parties do, I think, want to see local government recover its old vigor and independence. Ferdinand Mount. And a reminder that our next week's meeting will be our hybrid live format at the Heights, and register by Friday if you plan to attend, and I hope you do. Want to see you there in person. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.